Alright, today, so we're gonna be talking about, digital music formats and, how we went from, like vinyl, those big gold frisbee discs, to what we have now, which is streaming. Look at this. Thousands of, little songs on this little device right here. Millions even. Alright, so, history of digital sound and music. Music has had changed, definitely, a lot over time, and the way we listen to songs has gone mostly from, our physical records, our, CDs, cassette tapes, all those. And now we have streaming apps like Apple Music, Spotify, all of those. So today we're going to talk about and we're going to explain how that has developed over time with the internet. Alright, so before, digital sound, we had vinyl, right? Before our digital music existed, people listened to music on vinyl records. These records store sound as grooves that a little needle would read off the grooves, and it created sound waves, and it would play these through the speakers. And vinyl records were popular from the early 1900s to the 1980s. They had pretty good sound quality, but you could scratch them easily if you handled them wrong or something like that. And you can't take giant frisbee plus the enormous, I don't know, pizza box size recorder or digital player, right, around. So, you had to buy those physical copies each, right? And then you had to mostly store it at home. You can't just take that on the go. So, but they're making a comeback now. They are making a comeback, sort of. People are buying them more as just kind of retro kind of item as sorts. Water break. And so, then we move into digital sound. Basically, in the mid 1900s, these smart scientist guys were able to figure out a way to turn sound into numbers. And so they took a bunch of math and they figured out how that would work. And instead of storing sound as grooves or tape, digital sound uses binary code, which is like ones and zeros. And it was just a bunch of math, and they were able to make that work. And this made it possible to copy music without losing any of the quality. Early digital recordings were mostly used in studios because the technology was expensive and not available to a very wide area of people yet. Then we move on to cassette tapes. Before CDs, the best cassette tapes were widely used. These tapes stored sound in analog format, but they helped to lead digital music because they made it more portable. You can take around this little small calculator sized box around with you. You have your little cassette tape player. That was portable. You could do that. And people could record songs, make mixtapes, and play music in their cars, right? However, cassette tapes could wear out over time and lose sound quality after repeated use, and there was always the issue with you had to wind up the tape with a pencil or something like that. And then we move on to the best. We move on to the compact disc, the CD. These became popular in the 1980s and were some of the first major digital music formats. They stored music as digital data that could be read by a laser, right? It was still in this digital format, right? So it's just ones and zeros inputted really, really small. And the CD player would read this ones and zeros with the laser and translate that into your music sound. Right? These CDs had much better quality than vinyl or cassette tapes. They also didn't wear out as quickly, and they were easy to skip tracks on. This made them very popular for many years, and Personally, that's my favorite. Besides, streaming, it's just too easy. But I have an older car. I have a couple CDs in there. It's fun to have. But then we move on to the MP3. The MP3 is like a digital audio file that became popular in the 1990s. It basically compressed the audio file, so it takes up less space while sounding still pretty good. This made it easier to store music on computers and portable devices. People could carry thousands of CDs instead of just a few CDs. Thousands of songs instead of just a few CDs. And then came the internet. When the internet became widely available in the 1990s and early 2000s, it changed how people got music. Instead of buying CDs from your local shop or something like that, people would just go online and you could download songs just like that. But this also made it very easy for people to start illegally downloading these songs. Thievery, right? And artists and companies had to find new ways to protect their products and their work and their money. And so around this time, Napster was very popular. This was a website where you could download pretty much almost any song that you wanted, illegally, of course, but at the time, very popular. Through this, we were able to do a lot more file sharing and digital music, right? Digital music had a growth with the internet. And these file sharing services allowed users to share MP3 files with each other. And this helped digital music spread quickly across the world. But, people were downloading songs without paying for them, so this led to new laws with copyright and changes how music was sold. And then we got the beautiful thing from Steve Jobs called the iPod. In the early 2000s, portable music players became very popular, and the iPod, which is widely known, is probably one of the greatest inventions at the time. It let people carry a large amount of music, right? You didn't have to have a book full of CDs. You could have just one tiny little device, right? And you could carry around thousands of different songs right there in your pocket. And it was a huge step forward because it combined, your MP3 files, your digital files, with your portable likeness of like a CD, right? So best of both worlds right there. And then came the streaming services. If you're familiar with those headphones called Beats, you might know that Beats actually started out as a streaming service. And eventually from there, that became, once it was bought out by Apple, it became Apple Music. And now, we have dozens of streaming services. And so streaming services, basically, you're paying a subscription, right? You don't own anything. That's a pretty big issue with it. I see as the issue. You don't own any of it. You're licensing it. You're just using it, right? And you're paying on and on and on, but it's like renting, right? You don't actually own the thing. But now that is the most popular option because convenience. Everybody loves convenience. You can go on your little device and browse through, your millions of songs that are on there, There's no need to, you can't, if I wanted to listen to, I don't know, ABBA in the morning and Metallica at night, I'd have to have, all those CDs. But now, if I'm on a long car drive, it's just right on my phone. If my friend wants to play something, he can play exactly what he wants when he's in the car with me. There's no need to have that digital file or, to go buy it, go store it, It's easy. It's easy. And it's allowed artists to share their music around the world a little quicker. And so, yeah, that's how the internet changed music in the way it is today. People can now discover new artists instantly and listen to songs from any country. Majority of people nowadays discover new music through the internet, so it has definitely helped our artists out. And many of the new artists used to, well, many old artists had to rely on, music studios to get their image out there. But now you can just upload it right online, and you skip that middleman in the recording studio. So, not recording studio, big label company. So, and yeah, that's it.